Charged with aggravated. Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict livestream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on kids.
Is that correct?
Alrighty. I'm back from lunch. Let's get everything underway because that is literally not true. That's literally not true, says Adam Muskie. What are we going to break for lunch? We just broke for lunch. We just broke for lunch. How much can one guy eat? Really? I had fajitas, for those that are curious. I know you're not going to ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I had leftover fajitas. We had fajitas for dinner last night, and nothing is better than a fajita for dinner than having a follow-up fajita the following day. And it was tasty. It was very good. Mrs. R.A. makes the best fajitas. Chicken fajita. Delicious.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
You have to watch it again. Watch more closely. See what the score was. All right. Welcome. First and foremost, we have to welcome Megan Easton. Megan, congratulations being first in chat today. You have won, Megan. You have won. You are the winner. The grand poobah. The winner of everything internet related worldwide. So I guess you won, and at the same time you lost resoundingly. So congratulations, Megan. We're going to award the internet ownership to you for being first in chat. Thank you very much. It's a simple task. All you have to do is maintain everything IP related worldwide. And on a day like today, when everything is happening in all the courts, it's all the more crucial that you get your job done right the first time. So we're trusting it all into your capable hands. Congratulations, Megan. Appreciate you being first in chat today. All right, first of all, where did everyone go for lunch? I'm curious. Some of you are still gone, and that's all right. We had Megan Fox, we had Brandy Churchwell, we've got I think Kurt was live, Emily D. Baker.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
Just all the goodness happening all over in LawTube and adjacent to LawTube was happening today. So hopefully you got something really interesting from wherever you went during lunch. We've got the Murdoch case that's going on. We've got the developments that we followed in the Maya trial. Clearly now we are about to get back to the Key Lime courtroom of Key West. And we're going to be...
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
I don't know who won. No, the judge does not know who won. We've got all this. Let's see. Warmed up California pizza chicken. Sorry, chicken. I put chicken in there. There was no chicken, Martha, in your comment. Warmed up California pizza, kitchen pizza. Iced in here. Can't leave the house. It's freezing outside. We'll be showing Sarah Boone today. I have not seen the video from Sarah Boone. I did not... Didn't check it out. Whiskey Scambeater said, I went to Emily Baker, and one of the most amazing judges ever. Loved that judge in Murdoch. Oh, my goodness. Is it a woman? I didn't see the image of the judge. I was listening, and I couldn't tell if it's a female or a male judge. It doesn't matter. I'm just curious who it is. But, yeah, it was incredible. The spiciness, not the audacity, but the defense attorneys, Harpootlian, Jim, they were doggedly chasing something that the judge told them they could not have. And they like disregard it. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and do this. Like, I didn't ask for that. But yeah, it was fantastic. The judge's lady, she's amazing. And honestly, I said this in Emily Baker's chat. that if this trial, if the Alex Murdaugh trial happens again, and this judge is the judge for that trial, please save me a seat on the front row because I want to be there for every minute of it. The judge is that good. I mean, we love Judge Newman, and he like holds a special place in our heart. But she is no less serviceable than Judge Newman, and just very, very good at what she does. And she's handling like a whole room full of attorneys, and did an amazing job. So I'm looking forward.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Maya documents are uploaded on Discord that we went over this morning. Thank you, Britta. If you want those copies of the documents, Discord, it's a great place to find them. It saves you having to try to log into every single courtroom around the country. Go into Discord and just searching for the case you're interested in. It's good. Lily Wayne says, I went to Emily, Brandy, Law and Crime, YouTuber Tracy Ferreter. I'm glad you're back. I got my head spinning. So you had a busy lunch, Lily. Is that what you're saying? Never leave you unattended for that long, please. It was an hour 45. It was a little bit long lunch. It was like banker's lunch. All right. I have to tell you, I was going to tell you about a little personal experience I'm having with the company. I even threatened that company with sharing their story with you all. Let me just tell you what happened. Okay. Just briefly, and then we'll skip it. Because I tell you, I don't get mad very often, but had I the right trees in my front yard, they would be carved into letters again. Okay, that's how it went. But in June of last year,
there's a lawsuit.
In June of last year, I was minding my own business, paying my bills through autopay as we do, and I suddenly found out that I could not receive phone calls on my home phone. That the number that was my home phone number that I'm paying for and have paid for years now goes to someone else, and it's now their home phone. And I knew that because I called my number and it went to someone else's house. It took almost over 2 weeks of fighting and calls and customer service and then third-party authentication, and it was a nightmare to claw back my number after somebody stole my number. They call it slamming it. When they slam the number, another company just takes that number from you. It just happened again. I currently do not have a way for other people who normally call my home phone to reach me. So if I have a relative from far away who has an emergency, a medical emergency, and somebody needs to get a hold of me, I won't know if they try to call my home phone number because it will reach some other gentleman. And it just did it again. And I was promised, I talked to the highest levels that they would ever get on the phone, that they would notate my account so this would never happen again. They would never release my phone number to someone else without my permission. And they just did it again. Same company slammed my Vonage number from me, and Vonage gave it up. They're like, sure, go ahead and take it. He's a paid up customer. We never had a problem with him. Go ahead. Here, have a number. Anyway, so I thought I'd left my number. They said that
was terrible.
Anyway,
I
so
apologize.
I'm not sure if lawsuits incoming. I'm not sure if we're going to reach out to everyone else who's had the same problem, but it's incredibly frustrating. I will tell you that I spent an hour and 15 minutes, not my proudest moments, but an hour and 15 minutes on the phone. I would not let them hang up on me. I went through 4 layers of escalation.
There's a lawsuit
on the phone, getting people on the phone, and told them that they better get legal on the phone because this was going to be ugly. I recorded the whole thing. Anyway, so I've got this recording of this phone call of me being, I would say, demanding. Probably the most difficult customer they will ever deal with in their life. I was quite demanding that way. Anyway, I was so frustrated. I'm still frustrated just thinking about it. Time to find a new phone number, maybe a tort coming. Yeah. Anyway, that said, we'll set that aside. We'll set that aside. I honestly think it's not Vonage is to blame because they gave it away. They gave my number away when they promised me they locked it so it couldn't happen. But it's Suddenlink. Not Utopia. The Suddenlink, what's the other name they have? I forget. Suddenlink has a new name. That's the company that has slammed it twice. And I used to be with them. The number used to be theirs, but I transferred it from them. And they have still saved it in their number that is their number. And since they haven't assigned it to somebody, they just keep taking it from me and giving it to other customers. So anyway. All right. That being said, I did take it to a different carrier. This is the second carrier I've had with this number. And It's the old carrier who has my information, so they can say, we know who used to have this number. This is who it was. We're taking it. And they're still doing it. All right. Yay for 7 months, Sandy. Congratulations on 7 months. We're about to return to the courtroom here in Key West. Any minute now, the judge is going to be here because 1 o'clock the jury should be in. And we're starting with the jury. This morning, no jury present. They weren't in the courthouse. They were told to come late because we were going to deal with this issue, this impeachment issue. Well, now we're going to continue with the impeachment because the witness is still in the stand. The cross-examination is still occurring. And then, depending on what she answers here, we might have more audio recordings and or video recordings to be played before the judge outside the jury's presence, most likely, and then within the jury's presence if allowed, which I don't think it will be. Let's see. Just checking. Got a quick message from Dr. Joe. Yeah, as if we haven't had an amazing enough day. Dr. Joe says I'm live streaming with Greg Anderson 2 p.m. this afternoon to hear his assessment of Judge Carroll's decisions. Yep, I will let them know. Joe's apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm going live when you're live. No, Joe, Dr. Joe. Go live when the people are ready to listen. That's what I say. The internet is big enough for everybody. And I love that there are other people who go live at the same time. I love that Brandy is live at the same time that I am. I love that Emily D. Baker and Kurt and Ian Runkle, Runkle of the Bailey. I'm glad that all of these people have shows and provide it when you guys want to watch. That is awesome. So for those that want to know, if you want to know more about the hearings we covered a little bit with Dr. Joe and Greg Anderson, 2 o'clock. So it starts in 1 hour. So what did you miss in the Maya trial? It sounds like, Judy, if you're really interested, you need to go over to Dr. Joe's channel in 1 hour. He's going to be on with Greg Anderson about these documents that just came out. 4 different orders the judge filed that they were everything but the sanctions and the judgment. And so what's left? The judgment. The judgment has to come soon. We don't know it, hopefully it'll happen quickly. All right. Somebody says, check your burner phone. I'm checking the burner phone. Let's see. By the way, somebody sent me a video. Oh, I got the Facebook picture from Franklin Tyrone Tucker. Yes, I've been on his Facebook page. I've got a picture of him with the witness, Paula, at the hospital, and they're like making funny faces, and it's like her arms in the air and his tongue's out, like a weird setting. But anyway, we're super excited. So Dr. Joe today has some great information. Obviously, it's going to be great. Catch one or the other of us on replay. That's fine. But if you want to jump over to Dr. Joe's, I would not blame you in a heart. I wouldn't blame you at all. He does such a great job, and I love the opportunity to get some questions and answers in live with him. All right, Melanie. I love this typo. By the way, hell, everyone. I think he meant hello. I love that. No, it's been a crazy day. So we've got Dr. Joe on. We've got Greg Anderson. Greg Anderson is going to be on tonight with Rob. I'm just saying there has not been a better day to be a fan of true crime than today. This has just been awesome. All right, Bug Duggar, thanks for returning the greeting. Hell to you too. Oh, you guys are great. Melanie's like, and I just woke up. Oh, no excuse. No need to make an excuse. It's wonderful. All right, here's where we are. We have, oh my goodness. Reverend Beasy I don't know what state you're in, Reverend Beasy, but you're out running today. And there are very few states that I would recommend running in today. Most people call that freezing when you're outside in weather like we have right now. There we go. Greeners takes it one step up and just continues the greeting. All right. That should be one of our greetings. We should be like, hell to you. Yeah. All right. I'm giddy. I'm giddy too. We've got so much. I don't know what you're going to watch on replay, but you guys, man, what a time to thank all these amazing people out there that are producing great content. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about just everyone from Emily D. Baker to Joe Corcoran to Rob, Ian, Melanie, Megan, Brandy. We have just some amazing people out there that are doing some great work. So please, whoever it is, other than my channel, whoever's out there, please make sure you just tell them thanks. Give them a thumbs up. Let them know that what they do means a lot to you as a part of your day, and that would be awesome, because I'm so grateful to have this group with you. All right.
Street versus Franklin Tucker, 17-841. I think we have prosecutors, defendant, court personnel. I think the witness is back there. What about the jurors? Are they here?
Yep, jurors are here.
Okay, so unless there's something else, I guess we'll bring him in.
No, just a few housekeeping.
Wait, what is it?
We would ask the court to require that the microphone stays on the podium, and if Mr. Tucker needs to talk on the microphone, it's on the podium. It's very distracting when he grabs the mic and wanders around the courtroom. I think it looks cavalier and it's improper. It's not a game show, right? It's a trial, so we're asking for that, and we're asking for any kind of, apologizing to the jury for this and apologizing to the jury. I think it's pandering to the jury at this point. I think we just need to move on with the actual case.
Does the defendant want to respond to any of those concerns?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. And I understand the prosecution's frustration if I do approach the table where I approach the prosecutors, and I shouldn't have the microphone in my hand. I noticed I did that. I ran back later. I did do that at one point. I shouldn't be doing that. That is correct. But you yourself, Your Honor, told me to grab the microphone when I was up at the screen, and I would suggest that I'd still be allowed to do that. That way, the jury can still hear me when I'm up at the screen. As far as the apologies, I just happen to be a polite person. I try to be, and if you would like me to curb my apologies, I can try to do that as well.
You don't curb your enthusiasm.
All right, thank you.
Your apologies.
I believe that the reason that Mr. Tucker was invited to use the handheld was because he's soft-spoken. And this helps get him on the record. Am I speaking correctly there, Monica? Yes, she's nodding her head affirmatively. So I believe that I'm not going to order him not to use the handheld. In terms of how the jury sees that, who knows? I mean, frankly, trial attorneys are very aware of all these sorts of subtle things and intangible things, and they try to avoid things that would alienate or create certain impressions in the jurors' minds. But in this particular instance, I think you've got enough on your mind where I'm not going to tell you you can't use the handheld microphone, because I believe that it does facilitate the hearing. So that's number one. As far as apologies, I don't think that this is some strategy on Mr. Tucker's part. I think it's a product of feeling uncomfortable and maybe not wanting to offend. I think you might be, again, but this is not a court order, so to the extent you got to be yourself, be yourself. I think you're probably too what should I say, sensitive about apologizing, but I'm not going to tell you that you can't do it again. I think those are more style than they are any kind of strategy. So that's how I would see those things. So let's bring them in. Yes, sir.
Let's bring him in. not bring the jury, or please bring the jury. Bring him in. The soul lets out a huge. The judge lets out a huge soul-releasing sigh. The jurors are all chattering out in the hall. They're being told shush by the bailiff. The judge is over this case already. He's struggling, and let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let's see. On Law 101, we've been a little remiss in keeping up on this. So we probably missed a couple. That was the judge sigh. This judge was like, "Oh man, here we go again."
You all can be seated if you care to.
All jurors present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. And good afternoon, folks. I guess you all got the phone message after I told you to be here at 9:15 on Tuesday morning. Then something came up, and it seemed like that would be a situation where if you showed up at 9:15 this morning, you've been in a wait mode again. So I made a decision that it would be preferable just to try to get you a phone message and reset things at 1 o'clock. So thank you very much for your flexibility with that. Again, I try my best to be mindful of your time, try my best to assess how things are going and deal with the situation as the case goes. As I mentioned before, logistics and unexpected things occur in virtually every case. So we're big picture, we're on schedule. I talked about last Monday when we had our first qualifications, the time period we had. So big picture, we're still on schedule, and thank you very much for being flexible. We all really appreciate it. But we're back here on the record in State versus Franklin Tucker, 17-841. Where we left off was the continued testimony of Danielle Malone. She's here, so if you'd please come forward, ma'am.
This judge, his
Step
spirit
right
animal
up to
is
the witness
Eeyore.
stand.
This is the
You
lady
can
who
have a
was a
seat.
detective, and received a recommendation to not be a detective anymore. She believes that the change of her
So I
position was
remind
entirely
you,
her
you're
choice.
still under oath. That still carries over since the beginning of your testimony. And we're still in the midst of the defendant's cross-examination, so Mr. Tucker can proceed.
Here we go. Mr. Tucker, I don't think he has notes on where he left off.
May I?
Yes.
May I? Yes! 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 The judge sounds irritated every time somebody asks him a question.
Your Honor, do you mind if I move the podium a little bit closer to the witness?
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
He yells his answers. This is not the lady in the hospital. This is still a prosecution witness.
Gentlemen, I'm going to try and make this as quick as I possibly can. Ms. Malone, you testified that you were charged with handling the collection of video evidence. Is that correct? Some video evidence in the case.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you were put in charge of collecting that, right, from different places.
I was asked, yes, sir.
Okay, and I remember one of them was at CVS. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay, good. What about Tom Thumb? Were you charged with collecting video from Tom Thumb?
No.
Okay. And do you know if there was video ever collected from Tom Thumb?
I picked up a CD from Tom Thumb that was requested by another deputy or detective.
I may be confused here. You just said you weren't in charge of collecting video from Tom Thumb, and then you collected a CD from Tom Thumb?
Yes, the detective that was supposed to retrieve the video wasn't ready on time. They asked me to pick up what they had requested.
Okay, so you were put in charge of collecting a video from Tom Thumb?
I was asked to pick it up. I wasn't in charge of it.
Okay, maybe it might be semantics. It may be just the way I'm asking you. I'm sorry. Okay, so you did pick up a CD from Tom Thumb. Did you ever view the CD that you got from Tom Thumb?
No.
Okay. And is that the only ones that you did, CVS and Tom Thumb?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right, and you never reviewed Tom. How about the CVS? Did you ever review the CVS video, the videotapes from CVS?
Yes.
Okay, and was there anything of evidentiary value on those CDs?
No.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, and did you? Yeah, I know we've talked about some of your tasks that you had in the days after the crime. Were you ever tasked with photoshopping a lineup picture of me?
I was tasked with preparing a photo lineup, yes.
Okay, and what would that preparation entail?
Going through all the mugshots that we had in the MCSO database and finding 6 pictures of subjects that have the same characteristics, same race, male, female, we try to get like the same type of shirt, same background, same size picture of their face, so no one photo stands out from another photo.
But it was you never altered any of the photos at all?
I did not.
Okay. Do you know if any of them were?
Yes.
Okay. And is that a yes you know, or a yes they were altered?
Yes, somebody photoshopped them.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so do you know if those photos were ever used for a lineup?
I believe so, but I had no part in that photo lineup.
You had no part in that one. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. And let's see, we got that. As far as your other collection of evidence, I think we went over that. You were only there for the knife. Is that correct? You were there for the collection of the knife.
I was not there for the collection of the knife.
That's where I must have misheard. Were you there for the collection of any other evidence in this case?
I mean, I didn't take part of any real collection of evidence that was used in this case. I was there, like, on the scene the night that crime scene processed. I was there the day that the mask was found in the boat, but I personally didn't take any part in collecting that evidence.
Okay, none of that evidence. What about Paula's backpack?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you were there, or yes, you collected it?
Yes, I collected it.
Okay. And approximately, I don't expect it, I know it's been a long time, approximately how long was that after the crime?
I believe it was December 7th.
And where was that evidence collected from?
It was in Big Pine.
Okay, and was there any explanation as to how it got to Big Pine?
It was at a house that John Travis Johnson, the getaway driver, was working at after.
It was a house John Travis Johnson was working at?
Yes.
Okay. And did John Travis Johnson ever explain how that got there?
I don't know. I'm sure he did, but I wasn't part of that interview.
Okay. Just asking. Okay. And how did that come to be found? How did they find her backpack there?
The homeowner went to go change the air filter in her air conditioner, and in the air conditioner closet, she saw the backpack in the back of that closet underneath the air handler.
Okay, the bailiff butler is doing his butlery things.
Was it in the air vent, or was it in the closet, or was it in the back? Or, I mean, where was it actually located?
So she had central air, so she had the big AC air handler that had its own, like, utility closet. It was raised up a little bit on, like, legs, so it wasn't sitting flush with the floor. And it was underneath that, and that, I would, not really a closet, it's like the air handler storage space.
So it wasn't out in the open, though?
No, it was up behind a closed door.
Okay, and up underneath because again, I'm trying to picture this, but up underneath the vent?
Not really a vent, but underneath the air handler, like the actual AC
Oh, the AC unit itself?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so it was up underneath the AC?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it was found by the homeowner?
Yes.
Okay. And how did they know it was Paula's backpack?
I believe they opened it.
Okay. And, from, I guess I'm still trying to picture here. They opened it. How did that make it Paula's backpack when they opened it?
If I recall correctly, Paula's EBT card was inside the backpack with her name on it.
Paula's EBT card?
Yes.
And that was all taken into evidence?
It was taken into property, yes.
Okay, and so you took it from Big Pine back to headquarters?
I don't believe so. I don't believe that's where I took it.
Okay, and where did you take it?
I probably took it to the Special Operations building in Marathon, where Major Crimes main office was.
Okay, the Major Crimes main office? Okay.
Yes.
And was it then put into some kind of lockup or security area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And immediately afterwards, or was that longer?
It was secured in my possession the entire time.
Secured in your possession?
Yes, sir.
Is that against MCSO policy?
It is against their standard practices, yes.
Okay. And did you have a sustained IA complaint any time during this investigation?
Objection relevance.
I'll sustain the objection.
Considering this specific piece of evidence, you just said it was outside of MCSO policy, were you ever reprimanded?
Objection relevance, Your Honor.
Oh, he laid the foundation.
I'll overrule that objection if there's as to this particular piece of evidence.
I'm sorry, could you?
Yes, I can repeat. Were you ever reprimanded for this specific piece of evidence for mishandling it?
Yes.
Okay. And that is the only other piece of evidence that you took into possession, correct?
It was property, and no, that's not the only property that I took into my possession during the course of the case.
Okay. What other pieces of evidence, property? I don't know whether the term to be specific, but would it be any other evidence, any other property that you took possession of?
I took possession of items that was in John Travis Johnson's truck after the search warrant.
Okay, what would those be?
It was a fairly long list, but it would be a digital scale that had marijuana residue on it, some marijuana pipes, I believe. There was, I think it all had to do with drug paraphernalia.
Mostly drug paraphernalia?
Yes, sir.
How about knives? Did you take any knives?
No, that would have all been done by crime scene.
Oh, by crime scene. Okay. Let's back up for just a second because I want to make sure I'm correct here. You were there for the search of the truck, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that when you took these drug paraphernalia? Is that when you took that into possession?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And crime scene would have taken the other items into possession at that time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what did you do with the drug paraphernalia once you took that into possession?
Placed it into our property division for destruction.
For destruction. Okay, that makes sense. Now, when you did that, was there any time lapse there? I mean, did you take it right there, or was it, again, in your possession for longer?
It was in my possession
Okay.
for a day or so before it got placed into the evidence locker.
Okay, and were you ever reprimanded for that?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got his impeachment information in.
Now, we've gone over the items from the truck. Is there anything else?
I don't believe so, not that I recall.
Okay, so no more property, no more evidence.
I don't believe so.
Okay, and I think we pretty much cleared up the videos too, correct? That it was CVS, it was Tom Thumb, and that would be it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and you said you didn't know what happened to the photo lineup. The photo lineup that you arranged.
Correct.
Okay. And let's see. Is there anything else that you did as far as the collection of evidence or photo lineups? Anything we haven't discussed?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. All right. And I think here, sure we're on a point here. I think I'd like to subject this witness to recall, if that's okay, and I think I'll end my questioning.
What?
I'm sorry, you said you're complete with cross at this point?
I'm complete with cross at this point, Your Honor, but I would
the
like to
only
subject
witness
the
they
witness
have.
to recall.
Okay, well, so, thank you. Does State have redirect examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge is mad as all get out right now because he said he was going to take the whole day on this.
Good afternoon.
They haven't got any other witnesses lined up.
Ms. Malone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nice to see you again. I'm going to go over some points that the defendant in this case brought up with you. I'd like to start off with Anathea Clay. Do you remember the questions that he asked you about?
Yes, sir.
And I think he referred to Ms. Clay as a suspect, a murder suspect. Do you remember him referring to her that way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was she, during the course of your investigation, did she ever rise to the level of a murder suspect?
No, sir.
And would that be because perhaps she didn't have enough corroborating evidence?
Yes, sir.
Was she ever placed at the scene of the crime?
No, sir.
Okay, and you know that because you had conversations with other individuals that were involved with the crime, correct?
The leading in here is crazy,
And
Tucker's not objecting.
the defendant asked you about what other evidence, if any, that you had in your probable cause affidavit. Do you remember those questions?
I do.
Did you have other areas of resources of information that helped you corroborate your investigation?
Yes.
And the defendant specifically asked you whether you had a conversation with Mr. Rory Wilson.
This is redirect.
Is that correct?
Correct.
It's their
And
witness.
in that conversation with Mr. Wilson,
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we better approach the bench here.
He's made one of his first objections. I don't recall if this is the very first objection he's made, but he's made the objection. He needs to object to the leading the witness because we don't get to hear this part. It's a quick objection. I don't think it's leading the witness though. I think it has to do with the subject matter they're going into. It might have something to do with the pretrial motion in limine or something. The judge is livid. Did you see how he looked up from his desk and just looked? He's like, "You're saying you're done with questioning?" Just like the jury just got here. Like their seats are not yet warm. The jury just barely showed up. It's 1:24. They were supposed to be here at 1. And now you're saying you're done with the only witness you were going to have all day long. And the state, because of what Mr. Tucker told them, now I understand that Mr. Tucker had a video prepared and he wanted to show some stuff. He showed it to the judge this morning and the judge ruled that's not coming in. So Mr. Tucker had made his estimation of how long the day was going to last based on probably that material coming in that he wanted to use. But now it's not coming in and he's done. He has such subject to recall, which is good. I think he needs to have this witness if he's able to get other impeachment material in.
Proceed with your inquiry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Malone, Without getting into the actual substance of the conversation with Defendant Wilson in this case, my question to you, ma'am, is based on your conversation with him, did he corroborate your investigation in this case?
Yes.
Okay.
How is that not
Same set of questions. Did you eventually or partake in a conversation or a debriefing with Defendant Travis Johnson in this case?
Yes.
And without getting into the specific details of that conversation, did he corroborate your investigation in this case?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you have anybody else that you spoke to in this case?
I spoke with Miss Paula Belmonte.
Okay. And when did you speak to her?
At the hospital the day of the murder.
Okay. And based on your conversation with her, did she corroborate your investigation?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Now, the defendant asked you a series of questions related to your transfer. That transfer was not a demotion, correct?
Correct.
That transfer was not because you were reprimanded in any shape, fashion, or form, correct?
Correct.
Boost
Did
the audio
you
here.
request that transfer?
I did not request the leaving of major crimes, but I did request the leaving of law enforcement.
Okay, and can you explain for the jury why you did that?
Well, during that time, there was a lot of things that were going on, not just at work, but in my personal life as well. My husband of a lot of years had, in July of 2019, had surgery on his neck, and it was the third surgery that he has had on his neck. He was not recovering well. He had partial spinal cord damage, was having a very hard time walking without assistance. In a loving way, I'd tease him and say that he was like my little baby deer, because we lived on Key Deer, and when deer have a hard time walking when they're first born, real unbalanced and unsteady, that's what he was going through at the time. In hindsight, I should have taken FMLA. I should have taken the time off. I should have been there to take care of my husband, but I thought I was Superwoman and I could do all of that, and obviously that wasn't the case.
I appreciate your honesty. I'd like to turn your attention now to the questions that Mr. Tucker, the defendant in this case, asked you about the photo lineup. He asked you if, in fact, the photo lineup was photoshopped.
Yes, sir.
Is that standard procedure? Is that something that's normally done in these types of cases?
Typically, no. But at that time, we only had one picture of Mr. Tucker, and he was wearing a hoodie in that photo. And we had no other photos of anybody in our system that had a hood on the back that matched height, weight, age, and the physical descriptors.
So in an attempt to make the photo lineup fair, that's why you and the Sheriff's Department decided to Photoshop.
Objection, Your Honor. This is leading.
Objection leading.
Cross-examination, it's okay.
It's not cross-examination.
The objection.
Yes, sir. We
It's not
were
cross-examination.
trying to make it as completely fair and where nobody in that photo lineup stood out in any way, shape, or form because of something like clothing or, like if you take a picture too close to somebody, their face looks really big, or if they're far away, we painstakingly made sure that all the pictures were the same, and even to the point of making sure that they all had on dark colored shirts and there wasn't somebody wearing a white shirt and somebody wearing a black shirt. We painstakingly made sure that all the photos wouldn't have anything that stood out from anybody else.
And I apologize. I had one other question to ask you about Miss Anathea Clay. Do you know where she's at today?
I believe she is deceased. Actually, I know she's deceased.
Okay, this is bizarre. I think the prosecution attorneys, as officers of the court, need to correct that
the defendant
with the judge.
In this case asked you if you were
they know it's
reprimanded
wrong.
for the mishandling of some evidence in this case. Do you remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
Is it your testimony here today that you altered or concealed or destroyed any of that evidence?
No.
A lot of questions about the Cosme videos during your direct examination and cross-examination.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're not telling this jury that you can specifically identify anyone in those videos?
Correct. You can't see people's faces in that video, and you can't really see if they're black or white or Asian or Hispanic. You could see subjects. You can kind of, based on body shape, body size, get an idea if they're thin, if they're extremely tall, if they're heavy.
After your interviews in this case, and based on the totality of the circumstances, did the figures in those Cosme videos match the general descriptions of the suspects that you had in this case?
Absolutely. Between what Travis Johnson told us in his confession, after what Roger Ruggett told us in his interview about what happened, how many people there were, the physical descriptors of who was there, based on Paula's absolute identification of the gentleman that she knew by the street name of Detroit, who was later learned to be Rory Wilson, based on Todd O'Quinn in his initial interview gave a detailed description of the sequence of events that lined up with the Cosme video, as far as when they saw one person running, and then when the time delay for the second person running, that he was going up the hill.
Ma'am, you don't have to get into all that detail to answer the question, please.
Yes, sir, sorry.
Judge makes an objection
You
for
continue
Mr.
with
Tucker.
your answer. I'm just saying that it didn't call for recitation of some of that.
Okay.
Non-responsive.
We'll move on. You indicated you spoke to Ms. Belmonte, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was she able to identify her attackers?
She was absolutely able to identify Detroit, Rory Wilson.
And what about the second attacker?
No.
Was she sure about that?
She was absolutely positive she could not see the second person.
And based on, did you ever have a chance to speak to a person by the name of April Walker?
Yes.
And without telling me the nature of your conversation with her, based on your conversation, though, was she able to corroborate your investigation and the conclusions you had based upon that investigation?
Yes.
Judge, may I have a moment?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker's going to want another round at this. Frustrating that the judge allowed the leading, because the leading's been going on the whole time. This is the first time that Tucker objected to it, and the judge says, I allow it because it's cross. It was not cross. It was redirect.
One last question. Ms. Malone, based on your investigation in this case, based upon the conversations you had with other individuals that were involved in this case, did you come to a conclusion that you had enough evidence to charge this defendant with robbery and murder?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Tucker's going to want
to ask if we can approach the bench here, please.
The judge is frustrated right now. Look at this. This is his praying pose. I think it's like Zen. The bailiff's like, yep, it's going down right here. The judge is not fixing it. He's not fixing that issue. I don't think he knows he messed up. I think he's talking right now. He's specifically just talking about scheduling. They're looking back in the courtroom. I think they're talking about witnesses. Can you call somebody? Can you get somebody here? Can we do something other than waste another day? I mean, the jury was here for 35 minutes. We're about ready to excuse them for the day. They get paid for the full day, right? I mean, no one's taking away their $12, but it's frustrating that this court is wasting time like this. Red Pen, the first thing we've missed, first of all, Mr. Tucker has the right to defend himself, and we'll stand up and defend that he has that right. I also think it's the wrong thing for him to do, especially in this series of a case. There's so much that he's just not being a lawyer or not being, working the court system or understanding the process. There's so much he doesn't know, and he's missing things like objections, things he can object to, and because of that.
In the jury room for a bit, please. Appreciate your cooperation and patience.
Jury's getting excused for a minute. I think they're going to go over some of his impeachment material to not waste the day, but the deck's stacked against him here. He's got two prosecutors, seasoned attorneys, two seasoned prosecutors who are working the system as they know how to work it, and he does not know how to defend himself. And so he, acting as his own attorney, has to go through the evidence himself, has to go through the questioning, all the notes, all the scheduling. This is a train wreck for that reason. He needs a lawyer. Unfortunately, I don't know.
All right.
Either he can't pay a lawyer or a lawyer won't defend it the way he wants.
So, you would like this witness held subject to recall. So, my question is, how are you going to communicate with her? Is there some numbers she's supposed to call, or is there some way that she'd like you to contact her? That's my concern is if in fact you intend to recall her, how as a practical matter is she to get word?
Your Honor, actually, at this point, I do have the MCSO is what I've been using what I used for my subpoena. I would imagine if I could get an email for Danielle Malone that way, we wouldn't have to interact in any inappropriate way.
Do you understand what's happening here?
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, the state's finished with your testimony. We've gone through the direct and the cross and the redirect. Mr. Tucker would like to have the option to recall you in his case. Okay, that's certainly within the rules, and I need to figure out a way that he can communicate with you to let you know if you're going to be called and basically when.
Oftentimes this is coordinated through the opposing
facilitate
counsel.
that so we don't have any confusion if the need arises. So he suggested an email, or is there a work number? How would you suggest
We're going to mute this if she gives
contact
anything.
you in the event that you're going to be recalled?
My work number is manned 24/7 since it's a 911 center, so he could call at any time. And then
He can just call 911.
Reach out to me.
Is that what she said?
Either via phone
Just
or
call 911. I'll be there.
or whatever needs to be.
And will that work for you, Mr. Tucker?
I mean, it will, Your Honor. I just, in an overabundance of caution, to make sure that, again, there's no even illusion of impropriety. I still think an electronic message would probably be better.
Well, I'm not going to force her to give an email if she's disinclined to do so, unless it's a work email.
My work email is dmalone.
Okay, we're going to turn that off. We don't need her work email. But she is providing a work email address. She works in a dispatch center, right? She works in police dispatch.
K-E.
Okay, she's still spelling the email address, which we don't need. Mr. Tucker is taking that down.
Work number, phone number.
No, I do not know.
It's 30.
We're not going to use her phone number either. So we're going to turn that off. Yes, this is a great point. Let's see.
Just to make sure I have it correct.
Yeah, he's going to verify. Reminder, Mr. Tucker made the decision to defend himself. It's not the judge's job to help him do so. He is residing, not Tucker's standby attorney. Judge is not perfect.
Said I need to give the witness, at this point, seeing that she may be recalled.
She's still going to be, she'll still be under the
sequestration
rules that she can't talk about it to anybody in the case, or her testimony, I think, would be a safe bet.
I would agree, Your Honor.
All right, so again, it's a little, I just want to be clear, I'd rather be overly cautious than not. So the rule of sequestration of witnesses was invoked at the beginning of the trial. So what that means is witnesses cannot speak to anyone about their testimony. Normally it applies while they're out there waiting. They can't be in the courtroom or after they've testified until I suspend the rule as it applies to them. The exception to that is the witnesses can speak to attorneys for either side and about their testimony as long as they do it one witness at a time. Now, what makes this a little bit different is she's already testified and could testify more. So it's kind of like in the middle of it, kind of. So normally at that point, nobody's really talking to witnesses unless there's some exceptions. So other than this is when we need you, I would say just don't talk to anybody about your testimony.
Yes, sir.
All right? I'm not trying, I just don't want, some confusion or some problem. That's the last thing I want.
No, absolutely. Same here.
So, everyone satisfied with that instruction?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right, ma'am.
I do have, how long of a heads up would I be given? Half hour, an hour, half a day?
Well, I guess that's up to Mr. Tucker, but I would hope that you'd have a day notice. I'm not saying it's required, but that's normally the case as attorneys plan their case. They have an idea of who they're going to call, about how long it's going to last, and so they're able normally to give a witness a day notice. Now,
Your Honor, I will go ahead and strive, and I will make sure that I give her a day's notice at least.
Okay. So, anything else?
No, sir. I think that's it.
Take care.
So the only witness that was brought in today is now leaving the courtroom. It leaves the prosecution, who is up, still presenting the case in the lurch.
State didn't line up any other witnesses because of the belief that, or expectation, or thought that this was going to last a lot longer than it did.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Our apologies. We had witnesses last week that we never got to, so we thought we'd scale back, and our anticipation would be lucky to get her done this afternoon, so we didn't line any other witnesses up for today.
Okay, so what about tomorrow?
We'll have a full slate of witnesses tomorrow, Judge.
And can you give us an idea who that would be?
I'm hoping for Travis Johnson tomorrow, and hopefully the DNA analyst from FPLE. If we can get those done tomorrow, and in the abundance of caution, I could have the medical examiner here, but we anticipated him on Thursday, so we told him Thursday right now, but if I need to, I can move him up. Friday, he's not available, so it's got to be today or tomorrow or Thursday. Mm-hmm. And just 1 second.
So the Travis, isn't Travis one of the co-defendants? Is he already?
I think those are the last 3 witnesses we anticipate calling, Judge.
So as it stands right now, you'd be resting after?
Medical examiner on Thursday, I think, is realistic.
Mm-hmm. So then, Mr. Tucker, presumably, if you have witnesses you're going to call, you can kind of start to plan for Friday. If there's going to be some impeachment efforts as to Mr. Johnson in particular, to the extent that we can have those materials available and pinpointed, that would be helpful. So, presumably somewhere along the line, state's working on jury instructions.
We have them, Judge. I think we just have to tweak them a little bit.
And tweak them. I already have a general copy, Judge, but I'll bring a preliminary copy tomorrow.
I'm just thinking ahead, and of course, providing the defendant with just what your proposals are at this point, realizing that we don't know for sure until we get to that point, but anything you'd like to talk about regarding scheduling before I bring in the jurors? And
I think we've pretty much addressed it, Your Honor. If the state believes that they're going to be concluded with their case on Thursday, and I think at worst it probably goes to Friday, right? Depending on my impeachment materials or my cross-examination. I see. We either start on Friday with the defense or we start on Monday. Yeah.
I would certainly count on Friday. I just can't imagine that the three witnesses that Mr. Mansfield's identified are going to take more than 2 full days. I just can't imagine it.
I bet his defense is up Thursday.
2.5, because we have half a day Thursday, so we should, I don't think we're going to.
Well, that would be 1.5 then.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, you're right, 1.5.
Well, okay, that's a good point.
So we might. I still anticipate finishing our case this week.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll keep them apprised, but to me, if you finish the medical examiner, the lab analyst and Mr. Johnson, half day each, and then a half day for the medical examiner, that doesn't seem like it's a short amount of time. That seems like
that's a lot of time. Half a day for a medical examiner shouldn't take that. I don't think it will take that long.
Yeah. And then, so I'd say all things being equal, we'll shoot for Friday to start the defense case, but always being flexible. So now I have the unenviable task of explaining to this jury why they were here for 45-minute session, but I'll do my best within what I can explain. So let's bring them in.
Bring them in. His groans of despair echoing in the courtroom off the key lime walls. This is unbelievable. The judge is like, oh, I hate my job. I hate my job. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Jordy, Camo, look at me. I didn't realize I had an anniversary message. Love being here. I'm here all day, every day, and hell all. Jordy, thank you for adopting our new slogan. Great to have you here. Thanks for 2 months of support, Jordy. Bring the jury. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. First of all, Mr. Tucker is doing better. We'll wait till they're done here.
Please be seated, ladies, gentlemen of the jury.
What is that screensaver on that TV? Look at this.
Well, I have some news. Whether it's good news or bad news, that's depends upon how you want to look at it. The news is that we don't have anything more to present to you this afternoon. It's good because you get to go home. It's bad because we didn't make use of much of the time today. So, however you want to look at it, I apologize. It's not the way I would prefer a trial proceed. But again, without getting into all the details, it's the reality of the situation. There's just no other witnesses available this afternoon. We can only plan so specifically, and then there's factors that are beyond anyone's control. So I apologize. I certainly don't take your time for granted. As I said, to the extent that you're freed up until 9 tomorrow, I guess that's good. To the extent that I would prefer to make use of the next 3 hours, it's not. Big picture, I did say from the very beginning this could take up to 4 weeks. That was one of the reasons I had a liberal time estimate, because I tried to factor into that assessment these variables. So always trying to stay focused on the big picture in that schedule. We're fine with that. I'm sorry for any inconvenience today, but I expect tomorrow to be a full day starting at 9 o'clock. So please adhere to the court's cautionary instructions. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Robin, no one's brought up this with Paula being a witness and him talking to her. I don't know. I guess one at a time, the judge said, as long as it's one at a time, it's allowed. Judge is chugging whatever is in his drink, and it's not enough for him. He needs more. Butler Bailiff, if you could serve it up, that'd be great.
So they're going 9 o'clock tomorrow for the jurors. Anticipating we can be here at 8:55 and get off to an early start and make the most.
Judge, it's my turn to apologize. I should have had other witnesses here. I anticipated a longer afternoon.
Yeah, I understand. Try to make our best assessments, and as I keep repeating, and obviously that is my ultimate focus, trying to finish at the latest February 2nd. It's still with the belief that we should be able to do so significantly sooner than that, hope by the end of next week. But you know, that's ultimately the focus. I do not want to keep these folks beyond what they committed to, and I don't think there's any reason why they would have to. So, unless there's something else, we'll see you on time tomorrow and get off to a good start for a full day.
Don't be late, okay?
And recess.
I don't believe the judge has a drinking problem, but I'd have a friend call him just in case, because this is brutal. This is brutal. Not a big fan of the judge's decision. Let me just say, I said I think Mr. Tucker is doing better today than he did previously. I've seen that every day. We see that often with a lengthy trial and a pro se defendant. They start to learn by trial and error. They start to learn by what the other attorneys are doing. So if the other attorneys start making objections about what you're doing, a lot of times they will start to try to use those objections against them. So we're seeing that. I realize Mr. Tucker does have some counsel, advisory counsel, but it's not standby. It's not somebody sitting next to him whispering in his ear saying, hey, object to this. It's somebody that if he needs help, he can stop and say, can I confer? And he can go back and talk to the guy. So he's not getting fed his lines. Say, for instance, a beginning prosecutor in Thurston County might be. But he is learning. He is getting some feedback from that. So that's why he was able to make the motion about retaining the witness, subject to recall, and made that. So I think he's getting better. He did make a motion about leading the witness, and it was a correct objection, and the judge incorrectly overruled the objection, saying it's allowed on cross-examination. Unless the judge means he allows it on redirect, I just don't understand why that happened, because it should not be allowed. When it is your witness on the stand, you're typically not allowed to lead, unless it's a hostile witness situation or something like that. You're typically not allowed to lead. And in this case, there's been a lot of leading. Mr. Tucker objected, and the judge cited the wrong rule to overrule it. So not happy about that. I thought the argument to exclude the testimony from Paula was a bit weak through Zoom, especially considering that she is alive right now, willing to testify, able to testify over Zoom, and has serious health concerns where she's deteriorating rapidly. Apparently, the judge saying no, we're not going to take it out of order, and I don't know. Mr. Tucker was right. We've seen this, people be taken out of order because of vacation schedules before, where it's not much. It's a very, very weak reason to do it. In this case, he won't do it. So, not happy about that. But what I am happy about is that Dr. Joe, who's going to go live in just a few minutes. We've got free time to watch him and Mr. Anderson talk about the My Emotions that the judge released today. They're going to be amazing. I can't wait to see them both. So now we're going to be able to redirect to Dr. Joe and not miss a thing. I realize it cuts our day a little bit short, and I apologize for that, just like Mr. Tucker apologizes. But let's see, where is Dr. Joe? Here it is, right there. All right, we're gonna go to him in just a little minute. But Lawyer You Know is also live at 2 o'clock. So Peter Treehouse, great stuff. But what I'm saying, there's so much good stuff out there. There's so much happening in the world of true crime. And we've told you that January is the month. It just explodes. It just explodes, and it is exploding right now. I have not heard officially on Sarah Boone yet. I'm not sure if that got pushed out. I think there's just so many other big cases going that they just didn't get the coverage. So we'll have to see if maybe somebody can access the court records. I know I can if I dig down into it. We want to see what happened there. Usually they're a couple days late in getting those filed, though. So, man. Yeah, it's an interesting case. So Dr. Joe with Attorney Greg Anderson this afternoon. Unless the judge misspoke, it made no sense. Oh, he overruled. He overruled and used the wrong reasoning to do it. Can we watch another court case or court hop and watch Judge Boyd? We could. I've got a lot of things happening today in courts that I need to follow, and I don't know if I'm able to do everything at the same time. Let's see. Paula talked to Court TV and said Tucker's innocent. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's everything. I realize we're getting out way early today, but so's the jury. You know, be grateful for little holidays. Now we can all go outside and chop wood to try to stay warm. It's cold out there, guys. It is so cold. Please stay warm. Please stay safe. Reach out to somebody if you need some help. Get some neighbors, some friends, some family in the area that can help you if you need something. Please. It's too cold to mess with. Don't suffer in silence. All right, yes, we have Lisk this morning. Oh my goodness, Grizzly was covering that one. Screaming to pillows, says Vicky. Seriously. Never heard of multitasking. Gordon, I'm bad at single tasking. You multitask and then I'm bad at lots of things at once. Chopping wood drives the ladies wild, says Ivan. That's what they do up in Wisconsin. It's for dates. It's like, hey, you want to go watch me chop wood? See you all at Brandy's house, says Sandra Oliver. Wonderful. Have fun over there. That's going to be great. Let's see. Florida weather is beautiful. It's changing, though, Deborah. It's getting cold. There's a cold snap in the forecast. Ours is coming right now. Let's see. We were at, what was it this morning? I don't know. It was chilly this morning. Where are we now? Well, it's 52 and it started to rain. And by this time tomorrow we'll be in the 20s. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. All right, tomorrow we're going to start at 8:45 tomorrow, so please be here. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Unless something crazy happens today. We're going to raid Dr. Joe Corcoran, who begins in 2 minutes. When you land there, please click the like button. If you head over to Brandy, please subscribe. Oh my goodness, if you haven't subscribed to Brandy, go there instead. Hit the subscribe button. She's so close to 15,000. You guys be good to each other. Have a great day. Catch you later. Bye-bye.